Totton? Nice to be here. I actually come from a little town about 20 miles down the road, little town called Gosport. Fuck off! I never know how to describe Gosport to people, right? Because to me, Gosport is a sort of town where dreams are heavily frowned upon. What's that, mate? You got a dream, have ya? You know what you need to do with that dream? You need to put it on a wall and plaster over it, because that's what you should be doing, plastering. None of this dream bollocks. Put down the ballet shoes and pick up a fucking spanner. Okay, Mum. But Gosport is a strange place, right? I don't particularly like leaving the house that much in Gosport. Every time I go outside, something seems to happen. Like the other day, right, I went for a walk, nice little walk. For what's the worst that can happen on a nice little walk? All of a sudden, I get approached by a geezer. Proper fucking geezer. He's got all the geezer equipment, tattoos, fake gold jewellery, an aroma of male insecurity. I think it's called Lynx Africa. And he walks up to me, right, and this is honestly how he begins the interaction. Oi! Now, no sentence that begins with the word oi is ever going to go well, is it? It's never going to be, oi! Would you like a Ferrero Rocher? So I said to the geezer, what's the matter? He said, can you look after my dog whilst I go in the shop and buy some fags? I said, yes, because I was scared to say no. Geezer hands me his dog, which is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He then hands me an open can of lager, not part of the original deal, Mr. Geezer. Geezer walks into the corner shop, and I am left outside this corner shop holding an open can of lager and a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. And I don't know what come over me. But I started to feel more geezer. All of a sudden, I got the urge to sign on. It was weird, right? But Gosport is filled with these types of geezers, right? And these types of geezers don't particularly like me. They're incredibly homophobic towards me. And I'm not even gay, right? But these geezers will call me gay at any given opportunity for peculiar reasons. Like the other day, I was outside, right, wearing gloves. My geezer neighbour saw me and went, what are you wearing gloves for? To which I said, because it's cold, which seemed like an appropriate response. To which he said, cold, only gays get cold. Only gays get cold. So all those times I thought I was a bit nippy, turns out, just wanted some cock, didn't I? Nice bit of juicy cock that'll warm me up. Yum, 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 yum. But I myself am a married man. We got any married people in? Yeah. That's great. I like being married. Married to an older woman, right? I'm in an age gap relationship. My wife is 13 years older than me, right? I like being with a woman in their late 40s because they're confident, fierce, not afraid to tell you what they want in the bedroom. She wanted separate bedrooms. Sleep experts will tell you, right, if you sleep facing each other, it means you're in a committed relationship. If you sleep back to back, it means you're in a trusting relationship. But if you sleep in separate bedrooms, it means you're getting a bloody good night's sleep. I have friends who brag to me about their weekend. Oh, I was with this girl on Friday, took her back to my place, we were up all night. Sorry to hear that. I got a good 8 hours. The most common question we get asked when we tell people we sleep separately, oh, is it not bad for your sex life? I think it's made me more romantic, because now, right, if I want to be intimate with my wife, I've got to literally get out of bed, walk down a hallway, pick the lock. But I think older women are a lot more celebrated in age gap relationships. For example, I got with my wife when I was 22, right? She was 36. A 36-year-old woman with a 22-year-old man, you go, girl. A 36-year-old man with a 22-year-old woman, check his hard drive. Even the nicknames are different. Older women get called cougars, strong, powerful, dominant creature of the wild. What does an older man get called? Silver fox. Screams during intercourse, eats out of a bin, probably got mange. Not the best dating profile, is it? But because she's older, right, it means she has an older kid from a previous relationship, and it's difficult, isn't it? Being a good role model to somebody else's kid, especially when they're only 5 years younger than you, right? I can't discipline someone who was raised watching the same cartoons as me. We're both born in the 90s. We both drank Sunny Delight and cried when Mufasa died. I'm 35, they're 30. I'm only 5 years ahead. I'm not a role model. I'm a spoiler alert. Also, how'd you tell someone off who's doing better than you in life? Go to your room in your house that you own. And it's not just her kid who's older, right? Every one of her ex-partners was born in the 70s. Now, men born in the 70s can do stuff. I mean, yeah, they're emotionally repressed, but who needs crying when you've got grouting, right? When I first moved into my wife's flat, everywhere I looked, amazing DIY, spectacular workmanship. Her ex-partner had built structures that would survive earthquakes. I struggled to build confidence, right? There's a spice rack in the kitchen. I kid you not, best spice rack you're ever going to see, right? Custom built into the cabinet door. Soft close hinges. You open it up, it lights up around the spices. Oh, Paul made that. Fucking did he? I can't even look at turmeric without feeling emasculated. But I think a little bit of jealousy is healthy in relationships, isn't it? We got any jealous people in the room? Yeah. Well done, mate. The rest of you bunch of fucking liars. Right? A little bit of jealousy. I don't get massively jealous. I'm not hiding in a bush outside my wife's work. That would be mental. She works from home. But just recently, right, she booked herself in for a massage, right? And the masseuse was coming to our flat to do the massage. Perfectly fine. And then I saw a photo of the masseuse, right? And he was a very attractive man, like jawline, six-pack. He had a chin and everything, right? So I didn't know if I was comfortable with the idea of a very attractive man touching my wife's body in the middle of my living room. And I said that to my wife. And my wife said, well, if you're not comfortable, you can just be in the room at the same time. Cut to me sat on a sofa watching Marco caress my wife's naked back. In a matter of seconds, I'd become a Pornhub category. But I do consider myself a modern husband. I do modern husband things. I purchased my wife a dildo. It's quite a modern husband thing to do, isn't it? Because traditional husbands, a little bit threatened by the dildo. They think of the dildo as some kind of imposter that's invaded their home. Whereas I think of the dildo like a work colleague. Who covers my shifts when I'm away. But it was actually my wife who asked me to get the dildo, right? Because her old one broke. Wear and tear, right? And she said, could you pick me up a dildo? And I think she was challenging me, so I called her bluff. I was like, yeah, I can pick you up a dildo, because I am a modern man. But the thing is, you can't just pick up a dildo. They don't do them at the co-op, apparently, right? So I thought, I'm going to have to venture out to get this dildo. I set a date, put it in the Google Calendar, dressed for the occasion. Flat cap, duffel coat, newspaper across the face, right? And I wandered into Ann Summers, right? Now, Ann Summers is like two different shops. First part of the shop, quite light-hearted. Handcuffs, lube, sexy lingerie, and then there's a curtain, right? And they pull back the curtain, and I am greeted with what I could only describe as a gun rack for frustrated women. I'm stood there looking at all these weapons. I didn't feel like a modern man. I felt like a fucking arms dealer. But my wife is my rock, right? She's been with me for a lot. Like, I must stress, I'm perfectly fine now. But last year, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I had my left testicle removed. And testicular cancer can affect you in many different ways, right? And the main way it seemed to affect me is it made my testosterone levels completely disappear, which means my libido completely disappeared. And it turns out, when you're not thinking about shagging every second of the day, You can get quite a lot done. I've never been more productive. My brain was clear, I had razor sharp focus. My doctor said, do you want to go on testosterone replacement therapy? I was like, no thanks. I'm learning Japanese. Arigato. And whilst I was going through all this, my wife was going through the early stages of the menopause, right? Very difficult time for any woman. But she was actually put on testosterone medication. So her testosterone levels skyrocketed, whilst mine were non-existent. So for a brief period, she started taking the bins out. I got really good at listening. She got a pay rise. It was interesting. But I kept getting all these adverts pop up on my algorithm, right, promoting testosterone pills. The advert would always start the same way, right? Be a man crying, wearing a cardigan. There'd be like a voiceover. Are you tired all of the time? Have you stopped asserting dominance at barbecues? Then maybe you need testosterone. Then it cuts to a bloke in the woods with his top off, cutting down a tree with his boner. High five and an Alsatian. But that's not an exact representation of high testosterone, is it? Because your testosterone's at its highest when you're a teenage boy. And I think we can all agree, teenage boys are the fucking worst, right? But just think about what they're going through every second of their lives, riddled with the horn. I mean, put yourself in their shoes, but stay away from their socks. So I was really enjoying it, like really enjoying having low libido, because that part of my brain was now free, right? So you can imagine my disappointment when I woke up one morning and it had returned, right? I don't know if anyone in the room's ever been so disappointed to discover a boner. I know most of the women probably have. But as a man, it was like an old friend I thought I got rid of, knocking at my door, wearing an anorak, one eye open, little bit of conjunctivitis. I'm sorry. This one woman was loving me and then she just went, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, the doctor said to me, before we take your testicle, we have to let you know there is a slight chance you won't be able to have children. And obviously I was disappointed that it was only a slight chance. I don't know about you, Rob, but I've never wanted babies. I do have friends who have babies, and they have this habit. Every time they have a baby, they ring me up and they go, hey, Nath, do you want to come round and meet my baby? And I always say, nah. Because in my opinion, you don't meet a baby, do you? You don't shake a baby's hand. You never hear anyone go, met this baby the other day. Great bloke, bit of a dribbler. You don't meet a baby. You look at a baby and you judge how cute it is, because sometimes you will have to fucking lie. Everyone in this room has done this at least once. Oh, what a wonderful, adorable little baby. Yeah, he's going to be a heartbreaker when he gets older. As soon as you get in the car, there's a moment's silence. Head was a bit big, wasn't it? But people don't like it when you don't want children. My own dad said to me, son, if you don't have any kids, you're going to end up in a nursing home all alone with no visitors. I thought, that's tragic. He thinks I'm going to visit him. But the main reason I don't want children is, I don't know if you've noticed, the world's a little bit fucked, isn't it? Everyone's depressed now. Depression's on the rise in the UK. It's not just the people. My friend's cat's on antidepressants. I mean, imagine being a depressed cat. You want to kill yourself, you've got to do it 9 fucking times. But it's important, isn't it? Important to do stuff outside of the relationship. That's why I went to Japan, right, on a lad's holiday, went to Japan. And Japan is an amazing place, right? And it's important when you go to a different country to embrace the culture, right? And my friend said, we should go to an onsen. I said, what's an onsen? He said, well, it's essentially a place where a bunch of strangers meet and everyone's naked. I said, I'm pretty sure there's a flat on my street that offers a similar service. He said, no, it's like a relaxing naked bathhouse. Just treat it like a swimming pool, right? So we ended up going, and I have to admit, it was amazing to see how culturally different English men are from the rest of the world, right? Because the Japanese men were so relaxed and comfortable with their nakedness and each other's nakedness. Not one of them was doing a windmill, right? And then you just had 5 pasty white Englishmen all in a row like a lineup of flumps, just awkwardly trying to get into a jacuzzi. Occasional pieces of scrotal sack poking through the fingers. That's not that bad. Eventually, when I got into the jacuzzi, I popped my head under the water, and that was the moment instantly regretted wearing goggles. Yeah, that fucked up a bit, that bit, didn't it, man? But the other thing I did in Japan is I went to try sushi for the first time, right? And if you're going to try sushi for the first time, don't do it in Japan, right? Because they sushi the shit out of your sushi, right? We went to this really sort of supreme sushi place, and I picked the sushiest bit of sushi on the menu, put it in my mouth, and my mouth went, no. Vomited onto a plate, and then had to watch my vomit go round on a conveyor belt like some fucked up version of the Generation game, right? But you've been absolutely lovely, right? I'll leave you with this, right? I'm quite a working class man. Are we a working class audience? Yeah. That's good, it's nice to see. I actually live right in a council estate, council flat, right opposite Asda, right? Very convenient. However, I have, on a few occasions, accidentally stolen from Asda. Accidentally. You know, when you're in Asda, you might be a little bit tired. So you grab what you need, you leave the shop. You're about halfway across the car park and you realise, I didn't pay for this. Then you have that little debate in your head. Should I go back? Nah. It's only a telly. We've all done it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Nathan Eagle. You've been amazing. Thanks very much.